Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of this hearing today. Mr. Shapiro, I feel for you, and I met just recently with a group of Jewish students who had experienced a great deal of very difficult, from lack of free speech to harassment and all sorts of things on the various college campuses that they represent. I am also an evangelical Christian, and I've seen it on the other side as well, and have been, in fact, on the front line of this for a long, long time, where Christian students are disallowed to even share their faith. They're restricted to free speech zones where Christian organizations are kicked off campuses or even forced to allow non-Christians to take leadership roles in the Christian organizations. Like, how backwards can this possibly be? And in many instances, Christian perspective is even looked upon as hate speech. It's just absolutely astounding to me where this is going. And I want to transition, Ms. Strawson, to you. I appreciate you being here as well. Are you familiar with implicit bias testing?
Yes.
Okay, this is intended to detect biases or prejudices from individuals by various tests. Some colleges are actually using these tests now to force those who fail the test to be cured of their biases, prejudice, whatever it may be. In essence, creating on campuses thought police. You're aware of this, I see by your reaction.
I'm shocked, and of course I am against creating thought crimes. I am completely in favor of information. I've taken one of those implicit bias tests, and it's very interesting. So if it's presented to you as a way to expand your horizons about subconscious or semi-conscious assumptions and stereotypes to which all of us are prone, many atheists have negative stereotypes about evangelicals and vice versa.
Sure, we all have those.
But we should overcome them through education, not through indoctrination.
Well, and they're not necessarily wrong, one view or another. We've got to accept the fact that you're different from I am, and I'm different from you, and it's okay.
Absolutely, we can disagree.
So a college really has no business trying to cure people of their background or what
that would be a violation of everything the First Amendment stands for, everything that academic
Absolutely. Let me kind of go on. What are some of the biases that are identified as needing to be cured? Are you aware of that?
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, let's go on. I don't have time to dig into this. There's so much more to deal with. But would you not agree that when a university or college, whatever, starts branding people as hateful, as bigots, as politically incorrect, as whatever, and then creating an effort to cure them of those deficiencies, the school is in itself creating a thought police environment that is very dangerous.
And it's also something that violates equality principles, right? We're talking about trying to create campuses where everybody feels welcome and included and part of the community. And to stigmatize people because of their beliefs or their ideas is as offensive to equality and free speech principles as stigmatizing people because of the color of their skin.
Not to mention that, it's also un-American and unconstitutional.
And bad education and ineffective. You're not, let's assume the worst. Let's assume somebody is a convinced hate monger. You're not likely to dissuade that person from discriminatory views by treating that person as an outcast. That's the least effective way to persuade that person to change his ideas.
Absolutely. I appreciate what you said a while ago, too, about the vast majority of professors are Democrat or left-leaning, whatever it may be. While we were, in fact, sitting here, I did a quick search. It's not from my state. The University of Georgia profs are 12-1, Democrat over Republicans. I think from what you're sharing and from my experience, that's probably fairly consistent across the country. I can't fully explain it, but it does have an impact on the overall culture that is created and the resistance towards those who disagree with a political.
And I'm sure you and I would make the same negative conclusion if it was skewed the other way.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, we've got these these speech codes in place. There's been identified already a lot about this. We have court decisions that, as one of you mentioned a while ago, the court decisions overwhelmingly have ruled against the majority of the speech codes in universities, and yet to this day, about 40% of our colleges still have speech codes in place against what has been determined by the rule of law. And why is that?
You know, law is not self-enforcing. The Constitution is not self-enforcing. We still have segregated schools all these decades after Brown versus Board of Education. And that's why it's so important for organizations like the ACLU, FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, to be able to bring lawsuits to actually enforce principles. I mean, the examples of using so-called time, place, and manner restrictions as a pretext for suppressing ideas, that's illegal and unconstitutional, but you have to bring a lawsuit in order to vindicate that position. And if I may say, Congressman, just a couple of weeks ago, the United States Supreme Court unanimously said speech that demeans on the basis of race, ethnicity, gender, religion, age, disability, or any other similar ground is hateful, but the proudest boast of our free speech jurisprudence is that we protect the freedom to express the thought we hate. If only we could have the same unanimity in society as a whole as those very ideologically diverse justices have on that cornerstone principle.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going any further because I know I'm not even a part of this subcommittee, and again, I appreciate you letting me be part of it. I've got a lot more to cover, though, but where this is going with the clear distinction between one viewpoint versus another, creating a culture of intimidation and silencing a particular viewpoint has got to be dealt with, and I thank you for leading this hearing.
I thank the gentleman, and now recognize the